in my mobile money account. Together I have 7. Period. Doesn't make sense. So having, possession. Now watch here. -2 plus 5. The implication is that I owe 2, like we have said already. I owe 2. Negative means owing. I owe 2. Then I have 5. If I pay, I'll be having 3 left. I'll finish paying my 2, having 3 left in my bank account. This stage, number 3, I owe 5 cedis. I owe $5, right? I owe 5. I have only 2 to pay. If I pay, I'll still owe 3. That is why the answer is negative. Take note. So anytime you realize that you end up owing, the answer must be negative. Here I owe 2. Then I went further to borrow extra. I'll end up owing 7. Making sense. Period. When you have a question of this nature, you are permitted, you can use your calculator to do it. You type in the answer will come straight away. Get your answer. Oh yeah, okay. Good. So this is how it works. Or you can group like terms. So the positive lead, let the positive lead, then let the subtraction also come. You group like terms, you get 14 minus 16, you get -2. So this is a summary, right? But when you are permitted to use calculator, you do so. But if you are not permitted at the JSS level, right, you group like term, positive first, followed by negatives. Simplify all the positive, write it. Simplify all the negative, write it, then get this answer when you're supposed to show working in paper 2. Right. Good. Division. Division of numbers. Division and multiplication of numbers. Division. A divided by 4. You know the answer to be what? 2. Good. There's no issue with that. Negative divided by positive. The answer must be negative. When negative and positive meet, negative leads. Right? Negative always lead. Right? Good. If you have a bad nut, eating it with good nuts, the bad nut will surely show up. You get it? So when you have negative multiplying or dividing positive, it is the negative that shows. Ladies first. Negative, the negative cancels negative. You get it? It becomes positive. Take note. Right? Good. So it's similar to this one. Positive and negative meeting, you choose the negative. That becomes the answer. Now let's move on to multiplication. Similar. I think I've talked about multiplication already. This also this as it is. Negative, positive. What do you express? Negative. Negative. Nege is what? 4. This is a song in most of the schools. So take note of that. Alright. Good. So the next thing to talk about set notation. Set notation. According to the chief examiner, set notation is a critical topic for most students, both JSS, SHS level, and even university entrance. But it's so simple. Watch the way I'm going to demonstrate it to make it so simple for you. Now, these symbols, which of them is greater than, which of them is less than? When we exclude less than, greater than, less than, greater than. Yeah, good. Neither of them is greater than nor less than. Yes. Wow. This is what you learned from basic school. Yes. But let's improve it. It's an improvement upon what we learned in basic school. It's true. Now, let's see some arrangement and see something. Watch. If I have this symbol, you call this one what? Less than, right? Okay. So let me put this one here. 2. Let me change this. 5. 2. How will you say this? 5 is less than 2. If actually this is less than, that is what you say. 5 is less than 2. But I know it's wrong. It's not true. But if I write it this way, I can say 5 is greater than 2. Because we call this one greater than, the one facing right. When you use your right hand, you call this one greater than. And it is true. Good. Let's pick another one. Now I'm picking the same symbol. I'm changing the position of these numbers, right? I'm bringing the 2 here, bringing the 5 here. This is correct because we say 2 is less than 5. It's correct. But here we couldn't say it. So it's not a matter of the sign per se, but it is the position of the numbers against the signs. Now, always make sure the smaller number faces the smaller part. Right? and the bigger number faces the bigger part. Take note. So here you saw that the bigger number is facing the bigger part. The smaller number, which is 2, is facing the smaller part. That is how it makes sense. I hope you have gotten the picture. So you could say less than or greater than. So if I put the symbol 3 less than 7, it is true. 3 is less than 7. If I choose to speak from the right hand side, I could also say 7 is greater than 3, which is also true. So I said 3 is less than 7, which is true. 7 is also greater. 7 is greater than 3, which is also true. So you could use greater or less depending on where you start speaking from. Have you gotten the key now? Perfect. That is the deal. So there's no big deal anymore. Are you okay? Now look at some examples over here down with negative. Do you believe that negative 3 is greater than 7? Do you believe that? How? Yes. Don't forget we said negative means owing, positive means you have. Here both are owing. This man, Mr. A, owes 3. Mr. B owes 7. Who is better? If you owe plenty, is it a good news to owe plenty? Is it a good thing to owe a lot? No. So the one who owes less is greater than, is better. Greater means you are better. It's better than the one who owes 7. That is the logic in mathematics. Therefore, the one who owes a lot is worse off than the one who owes little. Simple. So when you come here, 0 is greater than negative 50. Yes, it's not 50, it's negative 50. So if I don't have, 0 means nothing. If I don't have, I am better off than somebody who owes 50. Yes, it's better. Because nobody will chase you for anything. Here, they'll be knocking at his door 24/7. Are you okay? So that's how it works. So those who owe less are better off. That means they are greater than those who owe a lot. And for that matter, those who owe a lot are less off, worse off, better than, worse off than, sorry, they are worse off than those who owe little. So negative 200 is less than negative 80. And for that matter, negative 80 is greater than negative 200. Good. So let's move on. At this stage, okay, we can look at set notation in this form. Examiner says this is where the challenge is. When students are asked to list elements of a set, I need you to do maybe set or any other question, follow-up question, they find it difficult. You read it by what we just did. Now, this, whatever you get here, becomes the first element, and the last becomes the last element. So let's speak. If you speak, you start writing them. 2 is less than a missing number. You know that in mathematics, the missing number is represented by a variable. So what is missing is what we are representing by a variable. Have you gotten the picture? So 2 is less than the missing number. What is the immediate number that 2 is less than? So you put the 2 here. What is the next number that follows? 3. The number before the 2. So the focus is on the what? On the 2. And I said 2 is less than, look at the symbol. The smaller part is facing the 2. So when you mention, look at the part facing it before you speak. 2 is less than the missing number we are looking for. 2 is less than which of them? 2 is smaller than who? It's smaller than 3. You get it? So the first element is what? 3, as you can see here. You could also speak. The missing number x is greater than 2. That is bigger than 2. If it's bigger than 2, what number is it? It's 3. So the same thing. So either you speak from here, go there, speak from here. So you can speak from right or left. Either of them will produce the best answer for you. Let's come after that. So after getting the first element, you come here. This is 7. 7 is what? I'm listening. It's which part is facing